Hello, everyone. It's Brenda Florida here, certified life coach. Extra purple hair today. I just had it done on Friday, so I'm super excited to have my bright purple hair back. Thank you, Carmen, at Dream & Company Salon. Hey, Sherry. Good to have you here. I have a very specific thing on my mind today because it's something that came up for me. I did a little quick reel on it yesterday, but honestly, 60 or 90 seconds, thank you, isn't enough to really get something out. I'm also sort of feeling a bit of a overarching, Sherry, you can tell me what you think about what I'm about to say. And then, of course, anybody who watches it, DM me or drop your comments below. I'm almost wondering if there's a possibility that we have gotten, I guess in a little way shooting ourselves in the foot as far as our inner expectations of our emotional health. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that. So, it is definitely more socially acceptable and culturally, normal to work on our emotional health. Whatever that means to you, that's a really broad thing. It can mean a lot of different things. But whether you're working with a coach or working with a therapist, there's a lot less stigma around it. And of course, lots of self-help folks like myself doing, reels and TikTok videos with little blurbs, 60 to 90 seconds that is just like, here's a little tool for this, a tool for that, great. I do that too, right? Because social media improves our algorithms when we do that. And because it's also, to me, it's also just a nice way to get some free content out there, because I like that. That's important to me. To get some meaningful content out like this with Delight and Desire every week for folks, for free. So I love all that. And here's the potential downside, or maybe double-edged sword is a way to think about it. I think it's possible that we could also watch those videos, get those tips, read those self-help books, whatever, and still be struggling and let that end up feeding there's something wrong with me. Because it is so easy for our minds to get triggered into something's wrong with me, I'm doing it wrong, I'm not doing it good enough, I'm not good enough, all those kinds of themes, all those phrases that are all those themes. Because the amount of free content that is out there, not just me, everybody that wants to help you in some way with your mental health has some kind of tip for, like Mel Robbins and her little, count backwards from 5, like all the things I throw out there. I've got my free guide for cultivating delight and desire in my bio. I do this every week. I've got my podcast every week. I'm very tools oriented. So I always have a lot of, things you can try and things you can do. And all of that is great. But life is a lot harder than that. And your journey, personally, each one of us, our journeys are more complicated than that. And so these sort of 60-second solutions are nice to get you over the hump in when you're in a pickle, so to speak, or something like that. But they're not a substitute for for transformation, let's say, or for a long-term change in your inner landscape. It would be like if, as if I was thinking, well, I'm just going to go to the gym, once a month or so. That'll be enough. And I'm sure my body will look better at the end of the year. Well, it's better than nothing. And it might make me feel better that day, pump up my adrenaline or, all those good workout chemicals that you get in your body. But I'm not going to have long-term physical change unless I'm doing it on the regular basis. And if I really want to be serious about my long-term physical change, I need to get a personal trainer. I need somebody who's looking at my body specifically and saying, oh, okay, like this is a great exercise, but here's a little tweak you need to do, or here's a little way your form is off that you're not noticing, or something like that, which is what I'm doing as a coach with people who work with me one-on-one. I'm going to say, or in groups. I don't have a group going right now. I may start that towards the end of the summer. But it's so much more personal because our journeys are so personal. So while the tools I use and other people, put out there work for everyone, so to speak, and can benefit everyone, the sort of formula that works for you, that really creates a lasting change in you, is going to have its sort of unique components to it, or a little more this and a little less that. So now, Sherry, I know you're a life coach too, so probably that makes sense to you, but chime in and tell me what you think, because I think this happened to me because I was thinking about something, I have a lot of mental health type people I follow, or organizations, and I mean that broadly, self-help, whatever you want to call it. And so I have so many of these videos coming into my own feed, and I'm like, yeah, like this is all great stuff. And our mind is so good at allowing us to watch that video and try that thing and being like, see, it didn't work for you. See, or now it felt good for a little bit, and then later in the day you have a slump and the self-criticism starts. So that's all I'll say about that for now. I just don't want anyone to be discouraged because, well, you get to feel however you want to feel, but real change in your life, real transformation takes a lot of effort, and what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for the other, or again, just needs a little bit of adjusting. Like I have my, I don't even know what, toolbox of tools, 8, 10, I don't know, different things that I tend to go to with clients, but the way I apply them to each client is a little different based on who they are and what it is they're wanting to do. Are they working on their career, their love life, their, whatever it is. It all comes out, it gets applied slightly differently. So yeah, change and transformation is very multifaceted. Yes. So Raphael, so happy you joined us. Maybe I said your name right. Not sure based on your Instagram handle, but welcome. Glad you're here. So what was really on my mind to talk about today was this idea of waiting to be chosen. So when we're looking to upgrade our lives, or to use delight and desire. Oh, universal movers. Hey. Yeah, Sherry, money. Yeah, imposter syndrome. Yes, your history of origin, your life at home, everybody's background, what you have been. Hey, hello there, universal movers. So happy to see you here. Whatever you have been impacted by, your own traumas, all those things make your own journey unique. I mean, we're all unique people. Our journey is unique. That's why one size doesn't fit all. Whether you're in the gym, again, I tend to use the gym and personal trainers at the gym as sort of a good metaphor, because it is very similar to coaching in that I'm taking somebody wherever they're at, and then finding the tools or the program, if you want to call it that, if we want to think of it like a personal trainer at the gym, that's going to get them to their specific goal. So if you want to be a marathon runner, or you want to just be able to spend the day in Disneyland and not get winded, those are two different kinds of goals. And a personal trainer is going to probably do some different things based on that. Hello. So glad to see you here. So the same is true with me and what I do. It's very personalized to the person that I am coaching. And so and those uniquenesses matter, and more than even promoting myself as a one-on-one coach, which, I love to do. And I do have a couple spots right now open for one-on-one clients. So you can just go to my bio and click the link for a 15-minute call if you want to talk about that. But more than that, what I don't want is an unintended consequence of all the free information and videos out there and TikTok and Instagram to trigger a holy shit, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you getting this? Why haven't you grown more? Why haven't you taken that leap you wanted to take? Or, whatever it is. Our brains are just so good at using even the good things we're doing for ourselves against us. And it turns into some other version of you're not good enough. So that's all, that's what I was thinking on that. On the being chosen part, here's what I realize. I'll be super transparent. I realize, so I'm thinking about getting back in the dating game, just so you can put some context around this. And so I started looking at online, the apps and stuff, because particularly maybe post-COVID, I don't know, maybe because I work it from home. I'm just not out in the world as much meeting strangers. I used to date, I've been single for 20 years, 22 almost. So I've done a lot of dating off and on over those years. And I have done online, apps before, used apps to, meet people. Even back in the day before there was an app, it was just online, like Match, whatever. Never really had any luck with it. The people I've met or the kind of shorter term relationships I've had are people I've just met out and about. I'm traveling, I'm doing things at work, I'm, in a restaurant or, at a bar, whatever. And I've just met them. But my life, because I work from home now and whatever, I don't know, life is so different in that way. At post-COVID, that I am not really meeting a lot of, strangers. And so I was thinking about getting on a couple apps, whatever. And I realized that part of my internal challenge, so, oh my gosh, Tribe of Empaths, I'm so happy you're here. You used to come with me in my clubhouse room that I did on sex as a gateway to awakening. So now we're doing delight and desire as a gateway to awakening. So you can kind of see the theme there. So super great to see you here. So in thinking about getting back in the dating world, I was talking to a friend of mine who I was staying with her last week when I was in Pennsylvania. And she was saying, I don't know, I was poo-pooing it in some way. Like, it's so hard to meet somebody, all the typical mindset stories we have, right? Yeah, our lifestyles really do promote self-isolation, and which is so not my thing. And yet I'm also a big homebody, whatever. I'm the big homebody that loves to travel. So there you go. Again, a paradox. I am all sorts of paradoxes, sequins and tie-dye, high heels and flip-flops. I am the paradox queen. Anyway, back to my point. So we were talking about dating and me meeting somebody. She was like, well, so what do you want? Do you want just somebody to have fun with, some, fun sex? I guess I can just say that. Or do you really want a relationship? And I said, no, I really want a relationship. I reserve the right to change my mind at any point about just the fun sex, but I really big picture, I want a relationship. And then I start poo-pooing it, kind of being a little cynical as I can be from time to time in matters of romance for myself, not for others, just for me. And she was like, I don't get it, because you do so many things. You will take so many risks having no idea whether it's going to happen. And you don't even think about that. You just go do them. I'm like, totally right. But with dating, it's like somehow, because I'm not sure I'm going to meet somebody, why bother? So I had to really, I'm me. I'm a life coach, big on mindset. I had to kind of tweak that, dig into that and see what that was really about. That's the little story going on in my head. But why do I tell myself that story? Because that's what we're all doing. We're all telling ourselves a story that keep us away from what is possible for us. on every level. So that concept is not hard. What's the challenge is getting into it, digging into it, going inward. I've talked about that a lot of times on this show, that, it is all an inner game. It is all an inner game. And we change our external situation and our external experiences only after we change them in a long-term sustainable way once we are different from the inside. Oh, you've been married 49 years, Sherry. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Let it evolve naturally. Yeah, let it evolve naturally. Yeah, it's, I felt like if I had my lifestyle like I did before, when I was working in an office and I was traveling a lot, going to a lot of conventions, meeting a lot of people, that felt like a very easy way to let it sort of evolve naturally. And again, I did. I met lots of people, had lots of great times, had a few short-term relationships out of it. No complaints about that. I just know whether it has anything to do with COVID or not, my lifestyle is much more isolated, working from home, not going to conventions very much, not traveling as much as I did, whatever. So I'm thinking of really, realistically speaking, not that miracles can't happen. If I'm going to meet somebody, I'm going to need to get on a dating app or something to do that. Anywho, back to the other point. So I realize I've got this inner mindset, this inner story that tells me, you may not find him, so why bother? And, thank you. So, yeah, the Yes Bash with Susan Hyatt. I was so excited to see you were there, and somebody else that I work with was there. I love her stuff. Anyway, you can follow her if you want, if you're listening to this. Susan Hyatt. I think that's just her Instagram handle is Susan Hyatt. And so I had to dig into that inner game. And I realized it's like I'm waiting to be chosen. So that feeling when you were in school, I don't care if it was, first grade and it's dodgeball, right? Or something a little more competitive as we got older. But when, the gym teacher assigns some team captain or, out on the playground, you self-select your team captain, and then they start picking people to be on their teams. And, I was always terrified I was going to be last because I wasn't very athletically inclined. And so it's that kind of a feeling of like waiting around, like, am I going to get chosen? Is he going to pick me? Is he going to pick me? Which I fucking hate the sound of that, even as I say it to you. But I realized, I had to be honest with myself and realize there was a part of me inside of me that was sort of carrying that energy to dating. And actually then I realized from that, even in some aspects of growing my business and the degree to which I want to expand, because I want to expand my business so much. I mean, there's just so many. I just want to help as many people as I have the time and the energy for. And so, and bigger than just one-on-one and some, anyway, some big vision kind of dreams that I have. So I realized there's a little part of me, even with some of the business stuff, where it's like I'm waiting to be discovered or waiting to be chosen or something like that. But especially so with dating. And so I wonder, and Sherry, anybody else who's live with us here, and if you're not live and you're listening to this, please just DM me or put it in the comments below, because I would love to know if that resonates at all. Like, even if it is not overtly so, I would not typically, because I'm very outgoing and I'm willing to kind of go after what I want. So I would not typically go, oh yeah, I'm sitting around waiting to be chosen, waiting for somebody to pick me, so to speak, whether it's dating or expanding my business or whatever it is. So that's the tricky part of this, is that a lot of times we have to get below what's kind of on the surface, because what's on the surface may be, fine, may sound empowered. It may, whatever. Do you think you don't feel worthy? Nope, I feel worthy. Okay. So that's what's in our conscious mind. But we know from science now that only about 5 to 10% of what we're thinking about is in our conscious mind. The rest of it is subconscious. And so we don't always know what it is. I mean, that's what the subconscious is belief below our awareness. And so I had to get below what my easy awareness was and go, no, wait a minute. What is that thing though that makes me go, so it probably won't work, so I probably won't meet him. I don't want to waste all the time, waste the money. Fucking dating apps have gotten expensive. Anyway, not really expensive, but anyway. Making up all sorts of excuses. Why is that? And so I got to this point where I realized, it's because it's almost like not having a seat at the table unless somebody invites you. It's like I'm waiting to be invited that I get to have the relationship I want. Well, hell no. But now I know it's there, so I can start to, here's Artfully Suzanne. Hey, Artfully Suzanne. So now I can start to work with that. And that's the deal, right? That's why coaching is so effective, because what I would, what's on the surface of my awareness is different than what's really going on deeply inside of me. And now that I know that, I can work with that. And I can give myself, sometimes it's about creating those. So like, is it true interrupt of, is it true that I need to be chosen, that I need, that's the words that resonate with me. They might be different for you. Like invited could be a word that feels like it resonates more than with you. But whatever it is, I need to be invited. I need to be included. I need to be chosen. Like some version of, I need somebody to give me a place at the table. I can't just go create my own. And then, so one of my favorite pattern interrupts on that kind of thing is to ask, is it true? Like in a very absolute way. Is it 100% only yes or no true? And I would say, well, no, now that subconscious story is in my conscious awareness, I can say, oh no, that's not true. I can go, make my way in this regardless of the outcome, whether it works or not. I've done a million things in my life that didn't work, So if we're only going to try something because we know before we start it's going to work, we're going to have very limited lives. So now that I really see that, I can say, okay, so now what would a person who doesn't have that story be thinking or saying to themselves? Well, in the realm of dating, since that's the topic I'm working on, it would be, okay, well, I will just bring my discernment to the table. I'm going to, choose wisely. I'm going to show up and be 100% myself, be very authentic. I have a tendency in romantic relationships to be way, way, way too accommodating. So I'm going to keep myself checked for that. Obviously in relationships, there's give and take, but I tend to go way overboard in the giving and accommodating. So now I can start to change my story. Nope, I can be good at this. I don't need anybody to choose me. I choose me. I choose me to show up and then see what's going to happen. See who's out there that's interesting to me. See who finds me that I'm interesting to them, and see if it happens. And if it happens, beautiful. And if it doesn't, it's okay. I mean, I think one of the reasons I've been single so long is because there's a lot of things I really like about being single. So, there's that. I can just keep doing what I'm doing. But it really started to change how I was approaching it and how I was feeling and thinking about it, even in the, before I have my phone and an app in my hand. How am I thinking about dating? How am I thinking about the prospect of finding a good partner? It helped me start to dissolve that very limited story that I was carrying. So who relates to that? And is there, maybe for you it's not romance, because as Sherry said, she's been married almost 50 years. So that's probably not it. But it could be some other aspect of your relationship where you're, doing that kind of waiting on him or her to invite you to this, and I don't mean like invite you to an event. I mean like invite you into a conversation. There's so many conversations. When I coach people on their relationships, there's so many conversations that people are not having with their romantic partner, and don't want to bring up unless the other person brings it up. So that's another example of how we can somehow get in this mode of like, I'm waiting for somebody to ask me. Career, super big time. Even if you own your own business, but particularly in a more corporate or you're working for somebody else environment, waiting to be offered the promotion, waiting to be offered the new opportunity, whatever, it can trigger that. Like, I'm waiting to be chosen. I'm waiting to be picked. And I'm here to say we don't need to wait for anybody. We can choose. I want you going for whatever delights you and whatever brings you desire, whether that's a promotion or more time off or a raise or some new thing you want to do in your business, or maybe you want to quit the job and start a business or start dating somebody or have that conversation you've been avoiding, with your partner or whoever it is. So I hope this was helpful. We're about at our 30-minute mark. I'd love any feedback anybody wants to give me in the comments. I always love your feedback or questions. Maybe something wasn't clear there, or you have a question on any other topic, because I am here for all of it on all the topics. So let me know. And while you're doing that, if you want to drop something into the comments, I will say next Tuesday is the 4th of July here in the U.S. And so I will be hanging out with friends and probably at the pool or the beach or both or something. So we're going to skip Delight and Desire next week. Oh, I'm so glad that was helpful, Sherry. Thanks for that feedback. So we're not going to have Delight and Desire next week on the 4th of July, but I'll be back the week after that. So I always love your input. Oh, you're welcome, Artfully Suzanne. I love your input. DM me. Book that 15-minute call if you want to explore coaching. I mean, there's no pressure in it. So, just let's chat and see if I'm the right coach. Now's the right time. Any of those things. I'd love to explore working with you. Thank you, Sherry. I will. You too. Whatever fun thing I'm sure you have cooked up will be awesome. And so I will see you all. Again, DM me questions you have, topics you want me to cover in a future episode. All the episodes are going over to YouTube. Also, all of our Delight and Desire episodes are going into YouTube, into a playlist. I need to get caught up on that this week. I got a little behind traveling the last couple weeks, but I'll get that caught up. And I love you all. Mwah! Have a great day.